Do you want me to turn these on?
Yeah. Or not.
I am so sorry.
Just kidding.
Short break.
Welcome back to Good Friends. My name is Diego.
My name is Matt.
My name is Erandeni. And I'm Kaylei.
Today, we're going to be talking some school tips and tricks. However, before we do that, please take a second to like and subscribe. Leave a 5-star rating, whatever platform you're on. Super duper duper appreciated. We are so close to hitting 500 subs. And when we hit 500 subs, I will be giving away I will be giving away $100. Huge thank you to everybody who supported this podcast because we hit 500 subscribers on YouTube. So excited about that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As a thank you to you guys, I'm doing a $100 giveaway. To be entered, you have to be a subscriber, you have to leave a like on this video, and you have to leave a comment. I will be selecting the winner live next Tuesday, September 26th at 7 p.m. MST. Again, if you want to be entered, you have to be a subscriber, you have to leave a like, and you have to leave a comment. I'll be using YouTube random comment picker, and that's how I'm going to select the winner, and then I'll reach out from there and we'll hash out the details. Thank you so much. Your support on this podcasting journey has meant a lot. Now back to the episode. When we hit 1,000 subs, I'll be giving away $300. So make sure you like, sub, tell your friends, and do what you got to do. Kaylei, I want to catch up a little bit with you because it's been a while since I've seen you. We met at Weber State University. We were a part of a little bit, like a small joint group, same with Erandeni, called the Presidential Leadership Fellows. Would you care to explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's kind of just like, I would like to call it like a group of like highly motivated, smart individuals, including you two. And I thought it was just like a really good experience. I enjoyed it a lot because I don't know about you guys, but when you're around other people who have like goals that they're pursuing or just like motivated by something like deep within them, it really helps you kind of achieve your own goals and get your own perspective of what you want to do. Mm-hmm. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. It was fun to see other people in other majors.
It was.
And, you know, I had dental hygiene. We had, what was your major?
Political science
and computer science as well. Mm-hmm. It was super cool to have everybody joined into one, and being able to work with the president was super cool as well. So
yeah, because
super fun.
That was one of the cool things is we got to work with Weber State's president, Brad Mortensen. So that was really cool because we got to go meet with like senators over at the Capitol. We got to do like town hall meetings, met with the board of trustees and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like a lot of really cool stuff and like a lot of people in high places where they make way more money than I will ever see.
No, it was super fun.
Really
well,
cool.
Diego was the assistant president. No, you were the president of the cohort. What is it? Cohort. Yeah, student body and everything. So that was pretty fun because Diego was the one who interviewed. You probably interviewed a lot of people for this position to be a part of it. And so I just remember him interviewing me and just getting to know me and why I should be a part of this group.
How long ago was that?
Almost 2 years ago. Like 3 years ago.
3 years
ago. Because that was your
Did
group.
you know Isaac yet?
No, I didn't know.
Look at that.
So that's
Year
how.
after.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. So that's how we all connected and everything. But it was so fun.
Which, for context, she dates my best friend Isaac.
Yeah. So that was fun.
Oh yeah, sorry, I threw that name out of nowhere.
I know, huh?
the other dude that does the.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Shout out Isaac.
We'll put a picture of him right here. Yeah. No, it was a really fun thing. Kaylei, do you have like a favorite memory associated with the Presidential Leadership Fellows? Or if not just that, just Weber State in general?
I have so many like Weber State memories. We'll focus kind of like on PLF stuff for a second though. I really enjoyed one, doing like a huge fundraiser, and two, I also spoke at the Capitol kind of like on behalf of Weber State and kind of just was talking about like how much it's impacted me and like it kind of helped with funding a little bit from what I understand. So that was cool as well.
That is a really cool one. With the talk at the Capitol, how'd that go? Like walk us through maybe like what that process was. Did you have to like meet like certain people? Did you have to go like behind closed doors? Like how did that work?
Yeah, so it was still during COVID actually. So that's how long ago this was. But it was kind of like a hybrid meeting. So some of the legislators were on camera, some of them were in person. It kind of just depended. But I kind of just wrote my own script, saying my own story, like how Weber State's impacted me. Basically, like, I don't think I'd be in the same spot that I was today if I hadn't gone to Weber State, kind of thing. And I just spoke at the actual committee meeting. So just in front of a lot of people, super nervous to do that, but it was fun. Yeah.
So was it just like your story of like who you were and like what you wanted to do kind of a thing?
Yeah, kind of like how I started at Weber State, where I started, because I started as a pre-med major, and then how I kind of made the big jump to political science and how I've just pursued that ever since, and all of the opportunities I've got to do because of Weber State and who I met there. Yeah.
No, that's fun. I can kind of go along with her as well, because our story was so specific that Weber State, you know, that was their whole thing, was that everybody's story was unique, and it was great. It's awesome how we can share that as a school.
It is really cool. Yeah. Weber State, great. This is all like Weber State promo right now. Is what it is.
Go to Weber State.
Yeah, exactly.
We only bleed purple here.
Oh yeah.
No, it's so fun. I love it.
Yeah, Weber State's fun. Oh yeah. This guy bleeds blue.
Oh shoot.
Not BYU.
We'll pretend that you bleed purple.
Yeah, I
From time to time.
we were school.
So you studied political science. What do you do now that relates to your major?
Yeah, so right now I'm working in a district court. So I'm a clerk for a judge, and I'm studying for the LSAT so I can apply to law school. My goal is to take the LSAT officially in October. I've been actually like really putting it off for a while, and I've finally just been like, I need to get over it and just take it. So I've been studying that kind of, I don't want to say excessively, but I get up at 5:30 a.m. before work, study for like 2 hours. Then I study during lunch and like all my 15-minute breaks. And then sometimes I'll take a full length test after work just because I'm getting so close to like the deadline in October. But it's been really cool working there. Like I'm learning a lot about like state codes, statutes, like how filings work, how like court proceedings work, that kind of thing.
That is awesome.
It's
That
really
is
cool.
so cool. I love that for you.
Yeah, she'll be our
super
lawyer
excited.
at some point.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Where do you hope to go to law school?
Yeah, so I love the East, and that's where I actually finished my degree, was in DC. But so Georgetown, really I want to go to a coast. I'm kind of tired of being landlocked a little bit. I enjoy coast, but the East is really nice. They have a ton of good law schools. I know people who have been to law schools in DC, so I wouldn't mind going there for sure.
Super exciting.
It is really exciting. Yeah, because you went to DC. How was that? Because you moved there for 6 months?
Yeah, around that time, yeah. So basically, it was kind of, I just decided to apply one day, and my advisor was like, okay, if you apply, you have to commit. Like, if you get an offer, you're going, kind of thing. And I was like, okay, because I was kind of like on the fence because it was my last semester of school. And so it was like a lot of pressure to like finish, get good grades while I was out there because I was going to be working full time. Anyway, I get an offer, so I accept it, and I fly out there probably like the end of July. And then I flew back home to graduate. So 2 days before graduation, I flew back to Utah and graduated, and I've been here since. But yeah, I worked for a U.S. Senator on the Capitol.
Awesome.
That is so cool.
Was this, so you came back December 2021? Is that
22.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So almost a year.
Yeah.
I'm like 6 months ago. Okay. No, that's a while.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
It feels like it was 6 months ago. Time is flying.
Yeah, it literally
It does feel
is.
like 6
This year's almost over.
Yeah, it really is.
Time's crazy. It just runs and runs and runs. I'm going to turn these on really quickly. I totally forgot.
Do you want me to turn these on?
Yeah. Or not.
I am so sorry.
Just kidding.
Short break.
Time in, I guess.
Okay.
Time. That's what you're saying. Time.
Yeah, that's what we were
Flies.
talking about. Time flies.
It absolutely flies.
Yeah. So with political science, what made you want to get into political science?
Yeah, so I started as a pre-med major at Weber State, and I just took like a one-off like intro to law and courts class as like a general, and it just clicked for me. I don't know how to explain it. Like I just knew like this is what I wanted to do, and I could see myself doing forever, and it was almost effortless. Obviously some classes were really hard and you can't avoid that, but I just really enjoyed it, and I liked learning about it, and so I switched that semester. So I didn't even do an entire semester as a pre-med. I think I switched like my second semester at Weber State technically. But yeah, and then I just started taking a bunch of constitutional law classes and just got more interested in it as time went on.
Okay. So constitutional law, is that what you want to be a lawyer in?
We'll see. I do enjoy constitutional law, like Supreme Court rulings, that kind of thing. And I followed that closely when I was in DC. And so I would actually have to like write reports on that for like my legislative team that I was helping assist. But yeah, I don't know. It kind of depends. The Constitution's interesting because it really just depends on like how you read it. And that's basically like the whole argument, because the words don't change that often, what's in the Constitution, but the arguments do. So it would be cool, but I would definitely probably enjoy like business more just because it's kind of broader and like you can pursue more things. But you never know. Maybe I'll go to law school and just never look back and go to constitutional law.
It happens. Yeah, I know the last time we talked, you talked about like lobbying and stuff like that. Is that something that you would still be interested in doing?
Potentially, yeah. If I'm lobbying for the right thing, I would definitely enjoy doing it. I have a couple friends who are lobbyists actually, and they really enjoy it. So I would like it a lot. Like one of my friends, he does like aerospace lobbying.
Oh, that's really cool.
And so there's really endless things that you can lobby for. And that's like what a lot of the jobs open in DC are, is just like a bunch of like, oh, you're lobbying for this like type of marine fish or like this like rare disease. It's really endless. So there are a lot of like opportunities. So if you find something you're passionate about, you could lobby for it. So
that's really cool. What would you be passionate to lobby for?
Oh, that's hard. I'm always big on like children's issues, like education. That kind of stuff's always spoke to me. I used to like tutor kids in junior high. So like that's like kind of one of my soft spots, is just kind of like kids education and things like that. So that would probably be a big one for sure.
What should kids be educated about?
It's really one of the things that I've kind of saw, at least when I was tutoring, is just like how schools aren't funded the same amount even in the same school district. So like I worked in 2 different schools in like the same school district, and some kids didn't have a complete set of like that trace paper when you're like learning reflections in school, and the other school had computers for everyone. And so it's just really like they were like sharing transfer paper, and that was just like one of the big things. Is like, oh wow, like this is huge, because they're like not even like 5 miles apart maybe, at like the maximum. So it's just kind of like really interesting how that impacts, and obviously that impacts your education as well, and like the quality of education you receive. And it's kind of like a trickle down effect of to like further on, because if you don't have like a good foundation, it really stunts you later in life. And so I like to try to do something to kind of even the grounds a little bit.
Cool.
That's very honorable. Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's awesome. So we did, with the Presidential Leadership Fellows, we did it wasn't necessarily a fundraiser. It was, I can't remember.
Fundraiser, like drive.
That's what it was. It was like a supply drive, I guess, like school supply drive for, can't even remember like the name right now.
Yeah.
You would know it off the top of your head.
Center for Grieving Children.
That's right. Yeah, because you used to volunteer there, and that was something that you did at Weber State too. Is you were like an outreach coordinator, community service.
Yeah, so I was on the community service team, so I definitely did do that. But I focused more like on like trails and stuff when I was there, and just kind of general. But I did do a volunteering thing there, and it kind of stole my heart a little bit, because it's, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like kids who are going through like tough times, like divorce, death in their family, just like kind of traumatic events, and it provides like kind of like a group for them to relate to, but also some kind of like counseling or therapy kind of level stuff. Yeah,
that was, it was a good drive. There was a lot of stuff that was donated. We just posted up outside of a Walmart.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you show up? I can't. Okay. Yeah.
I showed up.
Yeah.
Did you show up?
I was like,
Yeah, hold on a
were you
second.
even there?
Yeah, that was so long ago. I don't remember all the details. If I look at my Instagram, I'll see the picture and I'll be like, oh yeah, they were all there.
Oh my, yeah, I was there. But the funny thing is that Diego, I was like trying to talk to Diego and be like more, hey,
yeah, like
what's up?
social.
But you were so, I don't know. I mean, you were nice, but I
was on a mission.
Yeah, you were. He was there for business for sure. I was
being social with everybody else.
Everybody
all of
else
the people walking in.
Except for me. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No,
I'm
you guys are all great.
pod.
I remember that. It was an awesome experience.
Was that our first time meeting in person?
I think that was our first time meeting in
probably
person.
why.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with the Presidential Leadership Fellows, it was all like during COVID. And so for our group, it was all online. It was all through Zoom. All of our meetings were through Zoom until that drive. And then we had one meeting at the end of the summer where we all finally got together, which was kind of a weird thing because the year I'd done it before, everything was in person. So it was so nice because I got to like meet everybody like face to face. And so I felt like I really missed out on that with like our group until that last that last day that we all met up.
Yeah, because you were part of it for 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Were you a part of it the year before?
No, so I think I was a junior when I was in it.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Because we were seniors.
Yeah.
Oh, and you were also a junior, I guess. Yeah.
I started as a junior and then I
Cool.
ended as a senior. It was great.
How did you get into that? Did you also apply for the...
I did not apply, but
Did they reach out to you?
Yeah, we can talk about that too, actually, because this will transition us kind of into school tips and tricks a little bit. Actually, I lied. I don't want to quite transition just yet. I still have a couple more questions for Kaylei that I kind of want to
Yeah.
just
Sorry,
figure
I'm
some stuff
taking
out.
over.
Yeah. Making me get ahead of myself. Just kidding. No, one of the questions I have is, are you able to disclose like which senators you've worked for, or is that all like NDA kind of stuff?
No, so it's not NDA. So it's Utah Senator Mike Lee.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's cool to work for somebody who's in your state because you know the state's issues more. So it was cool, yeah. And then I got close with a lot of like Mitt Romney's interns as well, and then also just like everyone else on the floor, like some of the Pennsylvania interns in California. So it was kind of a good mix, and we all got along really well too. It was good. Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, because it's a fun learning experience. You're out in DC, you're meeting a bunch of people that also, it's kind of like you said, it's like the PLFs. You meet a bunch of people that have like the same dreams and goals as you. And so it's just it's a lot of fun. You feel a lot of inspiration and motivation to just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, it's crazy because like everywhere you look is like somebody doing something that you dream of doing one day. And so it just kind of like keeps you going. But like also like DC is really unique because there's like a lot of networking events, and like I don't see a lot of those here, at least, where it's just like, okay, all Hill interns, we're meeting at this bar at this time after work, and we're all going to talk and like get to know each other. And so it was cool because you get to meet like a lot of like diverse opinions, ideas, just like people in general. And then I actually met people from Utah because I worked for a Utah senator that I didn't know beforehand. And so that was cool as well. Just like, we're both from Utah. And like, obviously everyone else is like, you're from Utah? That place exists. But like, it was cool.
That's so funny.
That's the way it goes. Yeah. Like what I kind of picture in my mind is, so I've seen How to Get Away with Murder. So that's kind of like what I picture in my mind is at least like the social aspect of it, where like people will go out and like after their classes or after their work, their internship, whatever, and they'll go out like to the bars and have drinks, and it's like a little speakeasy vibe, and everybody's just kind of like hanging out and being friends, which you really don't get that here, or at least we didn't with Weber State University, because it's a commuter school. And so a lot of people there are just like, I'm here to get my degree and go home. I feel like that's something maybe we missed out on, is maybe that social aspect at Weber State University.
Yeah, I agree a little bit with you too. Yeah, everybody's there to get their stuff done and go home, but that's okay.
Yeah. I don't know where I was going with that. I had like a direction in my mind, and then my mind started. Yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Let's like wrap back around then, because now I'm going blank on all my other questions that I had for Kaylei. They'll come up at some point. But talking about getting into the PLFs, the way that I got in is, so I was this is kind of like tips and tricks a little bit here, where this is like my tip number one is get as involved as you possibly can. Whatever it is, whether it's like work or school, get as involved as you can, because people notice that and they'll recognize who you are for that. And so that's something that I always did. Whatever it was, like if I was in class, I always sat at the front of the class. I always talked to my teacher, my professors, the instructors, the adjuncts, any students that were there, like the people around me. I'd talk to them. I'd try to stay as involved as I could in class. And teachers noticed that, because they're like, oh, this person's very outgoing, sociable. We need people like this. This person's like a leadership, or they have, or a leader, or they have leadership qualities. And then they'll volunteer you for positions like that with like the Presidential Leadership Fellows. And so that's what happened to me, is I got volunteered to be in it. And so I talked to Stephen Richardson. He's the like coordinator for the Presidential Leadership Fellows. So I talked to him, got kind of an idea of what it was going to be like. And then from there I was like, yeah, I'm on board. Let's do it. I'm going to work with the president. I'm going to meet other students like me. This is so cool. Let's do it. And so that's how I ended up getting into that. And that's just how a lot of doors opened up for me, is just being involved.
Yeah, now that he's stolen like all of mine.
Literally kidding.
Yeah, I had a very similar experience to that. But then like also like trying things like outside of your comfort zone that you're like, oh, I don't know if I would like this, or I don't know if I have time for this, or whatever it is. Everything that you apply yourself to can build your resume for the next thing. And so say you like do something that maybe you're not that excited about, but you do it anyway and you do a good job at it. That builds like your repertoire of sorts to like have people who are like go to bat for you. Like this is a good person and recommend you for things kind of like Diego was saying. And so just like, I can't stress this enough. I like took like every opportunity that I possibly could and just ran with it and put my all towards it. And I think it really creates like a strong foundation for like your end goal, even if it's not anything like even in the direction you're trying to get. I think it can benefit you in the long run.
100%. I agree with that. Yeah. So how I got involved with it in my program, I had a, president, historian, what do you call that? Class presidency, I guess we'll call it that. And so I was the historian, but I always liked being a leader. I just liked getting up in front of people and all that stuff. And I was always the one who asked questions in class. So one of my professors came up to me and said, "Hey, I really want you to try this." And at first I was like, "Oh, I don't know. That's kind of, I'll be working with the president of the university." But I 100% the same thing. I was like, anything that can benefit, my resume or just, learning new things. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing, but I'm willing to put in the work and see where I go from here. Yeah. It's been really good. Yeah.
It is really good. Yeah. The more you put yourself out there, the more opportunities arise for you. Matt, I'd like to know your number one tip for.
So let's recap for the viewers. You said
just
stay involved.
Yeah, stay involved.
You said be passionate.
Yeah, take your opportunities.
Take your opportunities.
Take the chance. Yeah.
I just kind of on the same thing. I mean, there's a lot more coming, guys. This is not, yeah. So.
I just want to get like headlines.
Yeah.
So I don't say the same thing. I would 100% say, remember that you cannot be the perfect that you want to be. I think I suffer from this massively, and even as early as junior high, is every time I'd show up to class, I had an expectation for myself, for the teacher, and for all the students around me. I don't know why. I was just like, we're going to get in here. We're going to learn. I'm going to walk out happy. You're going to teach me what I want to hear. Does that make sense? And I started to see some teachers were effective to some students. Some students couldn't learn from some teachers.
It's true.
There's a lot behind the scenes that I think hopefully over time we'll be able to see as a race and be able to pinpoint that and teach the right things to the right people, to the right characteristics, to the right personalities. But what I saw was that I expected perfect, like everything was perfect. And then high school comes along, and that's, I think, where I realized the truth of things, especially with friends and people around you. You have expectations, and especially for yourself, and then you fail them. And then this is that point in time where you're really hard on yourself, and you either take a left turn down a road or you take a right turn up the road. And they both lead to different paths, different ways. Point is I think that you can set yourself up for success the more optimistic you are about your failures. No matter where you're at, what level you're at, kindergarten to PhD, remember you will fail. And it's if you succeed that will make you stronger. The sooner you fail, the sooner you'll succeed.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that, because things aren't always going to be like sunshine and rainbows. You are going to
definitely not sunshine and rainbows. But
yeah, things will get hard.
It's fun. It's a fun thing. You're going to, it's coming.
Yeah, you're supposed to have fun with it. And like you said, you're supposed to recognize that you are going to stumble. And it's like you said, you can take that left path or that right path. If you take that right path, you're choosing to get up and say, okay, I messed up. What can I learn from this experience? What do I have to do differently? Because I definitely had the same thing way before like the presidential stuff where I failed the class. That was like the first and only class that I ever failed. And so this leads into like my number 2 thing is don't be too proud to ask for help, because that was something that I struggled with. Is I was way too proud to go to like tutoring or ask like the teacher for help. I was always like, I'm going to figure this out on my own. I can do this all by myself. And I got to a point where I was like, oh yeah, I can't do this all by myself. I need help. Like I need a better support system. I need people who can help me out. Failing that class was like a big eye opener for me, where I was like, okay, maybe I should go to like lab hours. Maybe I should go talk to the teacher. That was really what kicked me off into like sitting up front and just like being as engaged, as involved as possible, because I was like, I don't want to make the same mistakes that I made before. I don't want to like fail any other class ever again. I want to get the best grades I possibly can. And that ends up paying off. Like it's a learning experience. And so when you fail, you do got to figure out what you got to change, what you got to learn from, and then apply it.
Onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards.
And upwards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can go off of that too. I think my number one thing though to being, what was it, successful in school?
Yeah. Tips and
is
tricks.
planning out your day by
Structure.
at least that's how I worked, is I had a planner. It was a book, like a handwritten one. I wrote down, what I was going to do every single hour of the day, which is not ideal for everybody, but I was like, hey, I'm going to wake up. This is the time to study. This is the time to work out. This is the time to do everything. And I think was a huge thing for me, was to plan out everything beforehand, and like what I was going to do on the weekends, how I was going to study, and like the modules and things like that. Everything was with a planner. Me and my planner were my best friends with school. I think that was the number one thing for me, is planning out and making time for yourself, for your school, for your family and friends, and having to have, obviously it's not perfect, but that's what helped me.
Yeah.
When you structure things out, it already answers a lot of questions that you don't have to waste energy on later on.
Yeah.
You're saving your energy by making premeditated decisions over and over and over. It's beautiful. Oh, it's methodic.
Yeah. You avoid a lot of surprises.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
Oh, and when you do hit a surprise, you have energy for
You're
it.
ready for it. Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, it's good. It's good. It is good.
It is really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kaylei, did you use like a planner, like a calendar? Like, how did you go about stuff like that?
I'm going to be so honest. No.
I'm like, you need a planner.
This is getting cut right away.
So I think this kind of goes to my other thing. It's like, you have to figure out what works for you. I am just not a planner person. Like, I keep stuff in my head more so. And the planner was very like restrictive for me. And like, I needed some kind of flexibility in my day where I'm still getting everything done, but I don't have to have it down to the hour. And I think that's just not really my personality. And that might have a little bit to do with like some kind of ADHD or something. But like having like a set like time, start time and end time, I don't know. It made me feel like I
boxed in.
Yeah. Like I was kind of like failing in a sense, like, oh, I started 5 minutes late. Now I have to go 5 minutes fast. Now my whole schedule, kind of thing. But I think it's really speaks to like, try out the planner. If it doesn't work for you, like you need to reflect on like what isn't working for you in the planner, what can you fix, and like kind of address the root of that problem instead of like band-aid it into like, okay, I'm going to do better the next day. And then after a while, it's like, what's not working? You kind of just need to like self-reflect and see what you can change.
So were you more maybe along the lines of like, I have a routine, but not necessarily like I have a plan, like a planner, like I don't need
Like
everything
You have a
scheduled.
goal, but not.
Yeah.
It's like when someone gives a speech. There's two ways to go about it. One, it's bullet pointed all the way deep, and then each bullet point has a 1, 2, 3. You have to hit on each one to make sure that the topic of that part gets across. Or two, some people just put bullet point, smile, bullet point, talk about this, have fun, bullet point, make sure you hit this, and then freestyle, right? And either way, you can see amazing talks or like speeches or presentations or whatever you want to call it. It's what you said. What's comfortable for you, honestly. If somebody feels like they can carry away with it and freestyle and just speak from their heart, maybe that they're just that type of person that can easily be connected to the audience, and they know that, and they have to do that through speaking from the heart. However, there are people out there that are looking for probably a more structured approach where somebody's giving them the facts, the details, the bullet points, and everything, because they're there to actually learn, not maybe learn the person, but more the topic. So it's what you're saying. It's different, but there's the same goal, and it's get to that punchline of the talk. Yeah.
I'm just crazy.
No.
No, it's definitely my personality, but
Which that does bring, it does bring up a really good point, is every learning style is unique. You mentioned that earlier. Not everybody learns the same way. Not everyone can learn from the same teachers. Some people are visual learners. Some are auditory learners. Some have to like physically write stuff down. Every learning style is unique, and you kind of touched on it. You got to figure out what style suits you best and then move with that. Because I'm definitely the same way as you, where I'm like, give me the plan. And once I have the plan, I am set, because I don't have to worry about anything else except for the plan. So that was like my schedule with school, is I would wake up at 6 a.m. every morning, and then I'd go pick up Isaac. We'd drive to the school together, and then we'd work out from 7:30 to 8:30, have like an hour to shower, get ready, maybe look at some extra homework. Classes started at 9:30 for us, and then we'd go to class until about 1:30, then go to work, and then just go home and relax, do homework, whatever we had to do. I don't know. At least for me, having that structure in the morning set the tone for my entire day of like, okay, this is going to be a good day. This is going to be a successful day. I was already productive. I got into a groove of rhythm. I was already powering through the day. And so I was like, okay, I can get through the rest of the day. And so that schedule structure helped me, although I never necessarily had a planner either.
That's kind of
I had a planner, so
that was just a long way to brag about myself and say I didn't need a planner.
Nobody needs a planner these days. I actually mentioned that to my brother the other day. He's in college too, and I was like, "Hey, are you gonna get your planner? You got your old school?" I don't need a planner. I have it all on my phone. Yeah. How do you have it? How do you read? I guess I'm like very visual, and I just like to see it really big. But he's like, yeah, I don't need one.
Yeah.
Why did you have one? I'm like, bro, come on.
Yeah. I don't think I ever used a planner at any point throughout school. Like they would give us planners like in junior high and high school, and I don't think I ever used it.
I thrived off of those.
The only thing I've ever used is like a calendar. I just need to know when things are due, and then I can do the rest of the work on my own. Yeah. And so that's why I have the podcast calendar.
Oh my gosh.
I made them schedule everything last week. I was we have to know what we're going to talk about the next 2 months.
No, I love it. Yeah. But also I think that could also be a weakness. Well, I guess one of my weaknesses for me is that, I have all of this structure plan. And if something doesn't get done, then I'm just like, I'm all or nothing. Does that make sense? I'm like, like I didn't work out this morning. Like I'm just going to like not do, like I'm off track. That was a hard thing for me because I was literally my mentality was like all or nothing, which is really not good. So I think that's something that I could work on, and I still am like that sometimes. I'm the
same way.
75 hard, and then 2 days in, I'm like, I have to start
75 soft now.
But no, you have to just realize that you have to trust the process and just be really patient, especially. Where was I going with this? Oh,
maybe
man,
just gotta trust the process, be able to adapt.
Yeah, being able to adapt, and yeah. I lost my other
not
thought.
getting discouraged when stuff doesn't go exactly to plan.
Yeah, which that's tough. It's hard to not get discouraged because you have like such, at least when you're a planner, like you have such a set vision for what's going to happen. And so when that doesn't happen, it genuinely does like discourage you, and you're like,
it messes with
sucks.
me.
Yeah.
I think that's why I kind of like diverged from that path because I was like, I just recognized in
She's
myself.
smarter than both of us.
She really is. I'm like,
I just recognized like within myself, like it was more detrimental to me to have like a down to like the hour plan. Like I'll have like a rough plan. Okay, like after school I have to do this, whatever.
Yeah.
But like a set plan, I feel like it's easy to like be like, why did I do that? I messed up today, and now I'm not going to do anything right until the next day because this day's ruined, which is definitely not the case. Yeah. Because like you can still make good of like a day. You don't have to throw everything out the window. But it's so easy because you're like, nothing is going to
I'm like, everything out. And I'm like, nope. I'll restart tomorrow. No, but I also have to, also, school is not for everyone also.
That's true.
This is this topic of school, but I got to mention that, if school isn't for you, have something that you are passionate about and always keep progressing.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think
it's also important.
I think school is pushed, and I think it's very important and it's very educational because you learn a lot, you make a lot of good connections, but I also agree that it's not for everybody. I think if you know what you're passionate about, I think you should just full send it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to learn so much, especially if your passion is there. You're probably going to stumble, fail. Like you definitely will stumble and fail. There's going to be a ton of roadblocks, but if you still have that passion and that desire to reach your goal, your dream job, whatever it is, you'll push through those things and you'll take them as learning experiences and you'll figure out, okay, this didn't work, but maybe this will work. And you'll just keep going on and on that way. I think that's a very entrepreneurial mindset sort of thing. And I think that's not pushed enough. I feel like that needs to be pushed maybe a little bit more, but school is good.
Yeah, school is good.
I love school. I'm a sucker for school.
I will always be go to school. Yeah, I love school. Ever since I was little, my parents are from Mexico. And so, coming here to have this life and the privilege to even go to school is really, really big. And I think growing up with that kind of mindset was something that like, I have to do that, take advantage of the opportunities that I have here. So that was my experience with school. It's always been really important.
I relate because my parents, like we moved here from Guatemala. And so I grew up here because I moved here when I was 2 years old, but it's the same mentality where it's like, this is such a good opportunity that you wouldn't get anywhere else around the world that you should take advantage of it. And so I I do my best. Kaylei, moving forward a little bit, I'd like to know maybe what you would do to like study. I don't know. How would you prepare for like an exam or just go about that?
So political science is a little interesting because there's facts, but there are facts in like a way of like legal definitions or like why this justice ruled in this direction. More so than like this happened in like 1900 kind of thing. Yeah. So, I mean, I was mostly reading. Like, I think I had to read like probably like at least 60 pages before every class. And honestly,
wow. That's a lot of reading.
Yeah. And I would do it because I don't know. I also I'm really lucky to be able to like retain stuff that I'm passionate about and like be able to read. Yeah. So like I can just be like, okay, this is why the justice thought that. And I think it's also just due to like, I'm passionate about it. And I feel like I wouldn't be able to do that in like a different field. And so I think that's why I'm really big on like people exploring what they want to do, especially like in associates, just so you can get like a taste of everything. Because if I hadn't taken that one class, I'd still be in like microbiology, like kind of hating it. So so I didn't really have like a way to study. I did what worked for me. And like, I would like quiz myself sometimes too, like, because some of the stuff is like more like factual basis, like theory and stuff like that, like what did John Locke believe in and whatever, but it was more like you'd answer in short answer, and so it was like
that's what I was wondering. Is it like justification, like prove why this is evidence for this or something like that?
And a lot of it was a lot more writing. So like this was brutal. I had a class in political science, constitutional law actually, and so there was like a set amount of essays you could write in the class, and that's all your grade was based on. It's like you have to choose between these 16 essays. But the catch to it, this, you haven't even heard it yet. So the catch is that you have to write it before the class you go over it. So you would have to have your paper submitted before you enter the door of the classroom that morning and have your own interpretation of like why this matches this kind of understanding of the justice.
That sounds fun, honestly. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like, did you have fun?
Yeah, it was fun, good. But like
that sounds amazing.
Say you forgot and you're like, I was gonna write that because like
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So like, I think towards the end, cause I'm not gonna lie, I stumbled a little bit and like didn't do some of them. I procrastinated because I was like, no, I want to get a feel of the class before I start writing. Cause it was like week 1, like you're good to start writing. Cause why does it matter? You're not going to go over until after class, after you write it anyway. So towards the end, I think I wrote like probably 2 papers, like one day, submitted it one the next day. Wow. And they were like, at least like they're like around, I want to say I did like 10 like 7 to 10 pages for each one. And so,
oh my.
Yeah.
You're so smart.
Don't procrastinate on your work.
That's so funny.
But if you understand the topic fully and you're not trying to figure it out as you write, honestly, at that point, 7-10 pages is just you, stressed and like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this in, but it's not you in pain.
Yeah. You're just in the zone.
You said you're passionate about it. And that's kind of the superpower behind that is this will flow 100%. Because I actually enjoy sitting here right now in pain. Kind of weird to enjoy pain, but
that's a good way to explain it. Don't get me wrong. Some of the papers I was like, I do not want to write one about any of these topics.
You'll get
and
those
like,
too.
Absolutely. Like I don't really want to write a paper about the Commerce Clause right now, but that's what we're doing. So I like trade and like why across the state borders matters. But like, that's going to be like any major, there's going to be topics in it that you're like, I cannot wait for this class to be over, but you just push through.
I'm going to echo what you said. Don't procrastinate. That's like one of my tips. I'll say that's tip number 3 from me is don't procrastinate. Get started as early as you can because the semester gets progressively harder. And so the more work you get done at the beginning, the easier your life is going to be mid-semester, finals. It just gets easier like the more you do up front where you might think, oh, this is all easy stuff. I don't have to worry about any of this until like 2 weeks into the semester. But that's a mistake because then you're behind and now you're stressed about being behind and that stress just piles up on you and it takes its toll throughout the semester. And so the earlier you get started, the better things are for you. And not just that, in a lot of cases, like professors, at least from my experience, the earlier you submit something, the quicker they grade it. And typically they'll take note of who submits stuff early and they'll give you extra points or they'll be more lenient with the grading. They'll make a mental note of that so that if you ever have to go in for like office hours hours or you have to go get tutoring or anything like that, you're on their priority list of who they want to help, and they're going to give you more help than other students would normally receive. At least that's how it was for me, where like if I submitted something early, but maybe I was like confused about something, I could always just go in and they'd be like, oh yeah, this is how I meant to like word this, or this is what I meant by the rubric. The way that you could fix it is just making this change. And they would tell you exactly what you got to do to get your points. And so that's my tip number 3 is get started early. It's not fun being stressed, like unless it's good stress. Yeah.
No, I agree. My other tip is don't be afraid to ask for help. I think in junior high, I was like kind of the same way. I was like, I don't need any help. Like I can do this by myself. Quickly in high school, when I started taking harder classes and stuff, I was like, I need help. And so I always, you know how the teachers would always say, hey, these are my hours after school. I'm not gonna lie, I was always the one, you know, right before school started, I would always go in and get help. And most of the time you would get the correct answers, but it's not how I got the correct answers. It's understanding, like, for example, like I'm thinking about math, you know, how you got that problem and so forth, and chemistry and everything. And so then it just helped me. I think I got a good base foundation on like asking for help in high school, that it was really easy for me to in college and being like, you know what, like, I don't know this, like, can you explain it to the whole class? And everyone would be like, oh, I'm so glad that you asked, because most of the time people have the same questions as you and like are lost, and just asking would be so much better than to not know.
Yeah, you're really good at that, because I feel like you still do that now, where like if you don't understand something, you're like, could you just explain it?
No, 100%. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
and people, I'm not gonna lie, people in class laughed and be like, they really do. I'm not gonna lie, but everybody's like afterwards, they're like, yo, like thanks for asking, So I'm not afraid to do that, because I want to do things right, and I want to get good grades, and I got good grades because I asked for help.
Yeah.
So,
which that's another leadership quality, again, is just being open and vulnerable and saying, hey, I don't know the answer. Like, I don't know how to get to the answer. Can you explain that? You're taking that first step that most people are too afraid to do. Great leaders. Yeah. I want to kind of maybe touch a little bit on like studying habits, but I'm also not the best suited person for this, because like you, I also never really studied. I would just retain a lot of the stuff. And so I never studied for exams or anything. I would just go take them, and I would just pass them. The best way, I guess, for me to study beforehand is gonna echo, I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, is getting started early and doing your homework. Like for me, like physically writing out like my homework or whatever notes I had to do, that was all I ever needed to study, because anything that like I wrote down, I would more than likely retain that for an exam. And so whatever it is, whether like you're going through like a book and like reading pages or whatever, like analyzing an article, just the way you write notes, or if it's math, like just the repetition of like writing something down ingrains it in my mind where I can remember it for an exam later on. So that's like my recommendation, I guess, for studying. But other than that, I don't have too much
on studying.
Yeah.
Like I said, school didn't come to me easy. Like, you know how you said, oh, like I don't even need to study. I already know. I don't have that quality. Like school came really hard for me, where I had to study. If I did not study, I did not do well. You know what I'm saying? And so procrastinating was never a problem. I was like, this is hard, I need to get this done, I will do it. But also with that and studying, I had a program of 30 people in my class, including me. And one of the things too is I was about to mention is help each other out. If you have a program where you're, everyone's going through the same thing, help each other out. There was people that were in my program that would gatekeep, like,
oh yeah,
like, bro, like one, like just, I'm not asking for the answers or anything, but just like help me out. You know what I'm saying? Like we're on this, like we're on the same team. Yes. Like, come on. Like that's something that I was always not bothered, which I get it. Everybody.
You sound bothered.
Well, I guess I am bothered. If anybody, my girlfriends watch this, they're probably like, who are they talking about? No, I loved all of them, but I'm like, come on, like, let's get this done together. Like I was always the one to be like, hey, help me understand this idea, or like how, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you do this? And just don't gatekeep, like help each other out. If someone needs help, don't be afraid to share how you understand the concept. So that's another really big thing. I was always always rooting for everybody else in my class, because you're in it with it together.
Yeah.
So
I will echo that, because I think that's something that actually helped me get into the PLFs, is, at least like in my software classes, I would always do the homework well in advance of when it was due. And so in class, I would be there for the lecture, and then they would have like open time for just like doing homework. And I would just spend the rest of that hour just helping other people like understand how to do the homework. And I think the like professors noticed that, and they were like, oh yeah, no, this kid, he's on it. Like, let's give him more opportunities. Just to harp on that again, on why that's important. All of my school was paid for just because I got nominated for scholarships. And so not only was it paid for, I was getting paid every semester. I was getting paid $2,500 every semester in my pocket just because I had so many scholarships and like tuition waivers for just being so involved with everything that I possibly could be, which I'm going to lead into another thing here. I keep saying like the exact same stuff, but it all really matters. It's all so applicable.
All of it, yeah.
Like find a club, get involved in some sort of club. That's something that I ended up doing. Is at Weber State there was a club called STEP, which is the Science, Technology, Engineering program, and we would meet once a month. That's 6 meetings for the entire school year. You meet for 1 hour, and then just for going to every meeting, you would get a $1,000 scholarship every year. Oh, wow. And so it's $1,000 that you just pocket and you just keep. On top of that, the more involved you get, the more money you could earn. And so for that club, I ended up being the vice president. And so I got a tuition waiver. And so half of my tuition was completely cut off. And so just find ways to like integrate yourself into your passions, whether that's political science, dental hygiene, software. Yeah.
It's also into the school. The school will give you loyalties. The more loyalty you give it.
It's true.
If you ask for help, if you go to school, they will give you so many resources and help to, to find scholarships and stuff like that. It's awesome. I love it how they can help you in that area. Oh my.
That's got to be Isaac.
Scared the crap.
He's going to walk in.
Scared the crap out of me. What about you? Were you involved in any clubs? Clubs or anything?
Yeah. I did a lot, and I was actually in like a very similar situation to Diego as far as like scholarships go and like having money left over during the semester. But I did like Student Senate. I did like American Democracy Project. I did a lot like within my college, which I think is also really helpful because then you get to hear about more things. So like I was like contracted by MTV to do voting work, just a bunch of different stuff because like I got involved in like my college specifically. And Weber State's really great that they have like great, but like they have like a page that like I couldn't help myself, sorry, but like they have like a page where they list scholarships for your major specifically. And so I feel like, again, going back to like talking to your professors, getting in good with them, like knowing them, like that kind of thing. But there was like ethics scholarships that I got for like political science and like a bunch of stuff. So it was cool.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll talk about what I was involved with. I play the violin. I've played ever since I was 5. And so that's
you do? I'm just kidding. This is like a little running joke that I have with you now.
Diego didn't even know I played the violin. Anyway, whatever. This is like a week ago, and he's like, "You play the violin?" And I was like,
"Do you still play?"
Yeah, cool. I do play. Yeah. So anyway, I've been playing ever since I was young. All throughout junior high school, I was getting ready to audition for schools around here, and at first I was like, there's no way, like, I'm preparing for this, I'm still in high school, I'm gonna do what my parents tell me to do, but I was like, there's no way I'm gonna get a scholarship. But again, I am so competitive that I'm like, when I do something, I'm gonna finish it, I'm gonna do it good, and I'm gonna try my best to see where I go from here. And so I auditioned for a bunch of schools. I got into a few. Weber State also gave me like a full tuition scholarship, so that was fun. It was really cool. I was very surprised and very grateful for that opportunity. Once I got into my major specific, it was either dental hygiene or the symphony orchestra. And so obviously I chose dental hygiene, but still the violin is my love. I still play. And I also did lacrosse, something that was just for fun though.
Yeah.
Just because I want to have friends, like I said, it's kind of hard at Weber State to have that kind of social aspect, like he said. And so
you have to actively look for it. You
really do. And so I think lacrosse, having that a few times a week and having games to play, against other schools was really fun, and get to know so many more people too.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Ice, do you want to come sit in? He said no.
I'm like naturally just poetic. I don't know why I love it. But when you explain that, I kind of felt like this you chose dental hygiene to be like this, like a garden box with a fence. It's something that can be structured. You can rely on it no matter what, right? And then the violin for you is that one flower in the garden box that can grow, guarded and safe because it has structure, and you can still pursue your hobby.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I agree. That's perfect. Perfect thing.
I knew what you were trying to say, and I was make sure that
music is great. I just both, dental hygiene was more secure for me.
Absolutely.
In that way. And
kind of a little bit in line with that, maybe not too much, but finding ways to manage stress, at least a little bit along the lines of like lacrosse and stuff like that. What are like ways that you guys would manage your stress?
I would cry. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be the first one here. I cried so much. You have no idea how much I cried.
I love it. It's honest. It's good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, go work out for 2 hours a day and then go back again and work out for another 2.
Let it out.
No, man, you're need
so
to cry. And I cried to my parents over and over again. I said, I cannot and I will not get through this. Like, this cannot, this is, and they're like, this isn't forever. This is just a few years. And so having that support system, honestly, is how I dealt with the stress. And I think it was more of comfort. It was stress. You're just going to be stressed no matter what. But yeah, I think letting out the cry and just having people to rely on I think was a big thing for me.
No, that's good. Sometimes you do need to cry. It's a good release of emotions, and it'll help you feel better.
Yeah,
it is.
It is.
Yeah.
Allows for new emotions.
It does.
I'm just a very emotional person as it is. So what about you, Diego?
But I kind of touched on it a little bit with like my schedule. I would cry all the time as well. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We're all crying constantly.
No, I would work out. That's something that like really helped me manage my stress. And so in the morning, I'd pick up ice, would go work out at the gym, be there for an hour, maybe sometimes hour and a half. And so we would do that Monday through Friday religiously. We would go every morning and just work out. From there, I guess just like on that topic itself, that really was fun and helpful because we were working out together. So I'd still get to hang out with my friend. I'd get to hang out with Isaac. We'd get to laugh, joke around. We'd meet other people at the gym.
It's efficient. 2 birds with stone.
Exactly. That's how I met Derek, was at the gym actually. So Derek was on 2 episodes ago.
Okay.
We think he's a vampire. So go watch that episode.
For real.
Yeah, that's how I met him. Was he was working out at the gym in the morning. And so that's how I met like a lot of people, is just through similar hobbies and passions and stuff like that. But working out, you feel good and it starts to make you look good to your standards, to your images. And so you think you look good, you feel good. That just in turn like makes you feel even better. It's like it's a positive cycle where you just continually feel better and better. And the more you do it, the more you realize this is a discipline. This is something that has taken a lot of work to get up to. And now I can look back upon this and feel proud. So whenever I'm feeling down or whenever I'm feeling sad, I can at least look back on this and say, okay, I did this. This was hard physically. So I know I can do physically hard stuff. So I can also do mentally hard stuff as well. It's just like a weird positive cycle that
Makes me proud.
it really helped.
I love it. It's good stuff.
It helped that Isaac also wanted to come in the mornings too. Cause then I was like, all right, we'll do this together.
People to rely on. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. There you go.
It's literally the people who you put yourself in, or I can't even talk.
You surround yourself
with help a ton.
Yeah. Which I'll talk about that really quickly as well.
I'm like, Kaylei, what about you? Diego's like, wait, on another note.
Because my first semester of college, I went to the University of Utah, and I didn't know anybody that was going there. Yeah. I was the only person outside of one girlfriend that I knew. So she was the only person that I knew that was going to be at the University of Utah, nobody else. And so it was just very lonely there. And I was still in that mindset of, hey, I just want to go to school, get my grades, come home. I wasn't in the let me get involved mindset. And so that really like affected me at the University of Utah, where I was like really alone. And I was like, hey, I might actually come back to Weber. I don't know. I don't feel so lost in like an ocean of students, I guess. I want to feel more like an individual, like a person. So went back to Weber State University, which had smaller class sizes. So I felt more connected with my peers, my teachers. I also knew more people that were going there. And so I would bump into people that I knew from school, and I would see them like every day. And so that really helped. And then like I had friends like Isaac that were going there. And so we would meet up. Isaac and I would have lunch like almost every other day. It was just a really good like environment for me to learn and grow in, is just having a lot of people that I was familiar with. Just because I don't think I was mature enough to be able to go out and make friends on my own at that point yet. So it was like a good spot for me to be in, just because I knew there was going to be a good support system.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Just wanted to double down on that.
Yeah, your environment.
Exactly. Now let's go to Kaylei. How did you manage stress?
Yeah, no, I think working out's really big because that's the dopamine. And I've actually been researching this a lot lately, like the dopamine addiction with like phones and things like that, and like how to like reset your dopamine, because that's how like you start feeling like unmotivated, is because you're just used to like constant hits. Unless you're like feeling like you're accomplishing something, you can really get in like I feel like I'm not doing anything right, like kind of like I feel stuck kind of mentality. So I think like working out's really good for that, but then also it's like showing yourself that you can have discipline, you can do hard things, you have the mental strength to go do something that you might not necessarily want to do after school or before school, like working out. And so I think that's really good to just be able to like show yourself, no, I have the mental strength to push through hard things. And then also like physical strength comes with that. But I think mental strength's a really interesting thing, because like a lot of things, there's just like a mental battle with yourself.
100%.
Of like, can I do this thing? And I feel like, honestly, people say this all the time, but like the person who doubts you the most is yourself. And so being able to have like that mental strength to kind of like switch your mindset, I think is helpful just in all areas of life as well. So
that's a good one too.
It is a good one. Did you guys like ever watch movies, play games, go hang out with friends, like find other ways to like reward yourself?
Yeah.
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 I'm like, what did I do?
Yeah. What
No,
did
it
you do
was
to reward yourself?
strictly-
Because it can't always just be like 100% school all the way through.
I mean, it was like that though. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, I think at the end of each semester, I think I had like a trip planned with my family or friends that I had something to look forward to at the end of the semester as a reward, I guess.
Okay. Did you do anything for like spring break, fall break?
I cannot remember. I probably stayed close. I took advantage of spring break a lot of the times because I was like, hey, this is time for me to get ahead a little bit and have more study time. I think I did a couple semesters.
How was your like school work-life balance? Like what did you do like on the weekends? Was it just like strictly homework, or like what'd you do for fun?
No, so I had that all planned out. Balance is key, my friends. So I, on the weekends I would study. At nighttime I would hang out with friends and stuff. Nothing too crazy. I remember taking a lot of tests on Saturdays. If it was due on Sunday or Monday, I would kind of get it done on Saturday during the day, and then have my Saturday night not to myself, but just to kind of get it done and over with. But I would push really hard to get it done. But yeah, it was honestly, I gotta say, it was mostly school. I put in that work for sure. And especially when I was doing the violin, I had to practice. I'm not kidding when I'm telling you this, like 2 to 4 hours a day. So when I say like I needed to have like a structure and like kind of a plan to help me get through it, I literally needed that time, because there was no other way. I was gonna do my music and then my homework and then tests and then everything else. It was hard, and that's what got me into really like the discipline that I had to have to be successful. Like there was no time to be like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna learn that piece like the day of the concert, like there's no way that you can do that. Or like my own pieces that I was practicing as well, like you literally can't.
Yeah. Or I guess like not if you went back, but if you had to do it all over again right now, do you think you could do it all over again right now?
No one can pay me enough money to do that stuff all over again. No, I'm kidding. No, I honestly really did love school. Like I say that I just cried all the time, but I mean I did, but looking back, I really enjoyed school. Looking back, I was like, wow, like, obviously it's the end goal of finishing, but honestly, it's the whole process and journey that you're going through it as well. And the things that you're learning and the mistakes that you're going to do and everything, the whole journey is just, it's fun. And I'm so glad that I got to do it, because no one can pay me enough money to go back. But also I'm like, been thinking about going back to school because I really like school. I like to learn and keep progressing in life. And it's something that I was really good at, but never came easy to me. That's one thing for sure. But You work hard.
You do work hard.
Yeah.
What about you, Kaylei? What were your weekends like? Like, what did you do for fun?
So I had to have like a rule with myself that I wouldn't really like go out and hang out with friends at night except on the weekends. Like people would be like, oh, can you go do something this Tuesday? And I'm like, no, absolutely not. I mean, obviously, like if you can handle going out on a Tuesday, then go out on a Tuesday. But I had this rule for myself that, and I did that in DC as well. Like I would not go unless it was like a networking event that was like earlier in the night, because it's really hard to do anything without connections on the hill. But like unless it was for like an explicit purpose, I would not do anything but school or like other things that I needed to do just for like my own like mental health kind of stuff, because it's just so easy to be like, I'd rather go have fun with my friends than go read 60 pages of this book that I don't want to read right now. And so I had to have that kind of structure where it's like, I will work my butt off all week, and then on Friday that's my time to like reward myself. So I kind of had like that constant cycle going, so it was like just gotta get to Friday, gotta get to Friday.
It's so rewarding too. Like you're just so glad that by the end of Friday you're like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't go out, you know, I got stuff done instead of like going out. You kind of just like, oh, I'm so glad I did this, and it just feels so good that you got what you wanted to accomplish throughout the week. So I mean, I wish I could go all out every day, every single day, and rage.
I wish I could too.
But yeah, it's just the structure and like kind of that commitment that you have to make to yourself and being like, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stick to it, and I'm going to get it done.
Yeah. It is a hard
discipline. It's hard.
It's very hard. Like I struggled with that like this summer, not even school related anymore. Like now it's like podcast, like business related where I'm like, okay, like this summer there were so many fun things that people had planned where I was like, oh yeah, let's go to Vegas. And then the next weekend it's like, oh yeah, let's go to Idaho. And then the next weekend it's like, oh yeah, let's go camping. And it's just like back to back to back stuff where it makes things hard, at least like podcast wise. Cause these podcasts take like at least 8 to 10 hours to edit. And so I don't want to do that like outside of my work and then go hang out, do all of these things and then do the podcast. Like the podcast is the last thing I want to edit at the end of the night. Yeah, and so I went through like a period in the summer where I was like, I'll do it next week. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And it just kept piling up. And lately I've been on like a really like good kick where I'm like, okay, time to set some boundaries for myself. I'm only going to go out one day, like on the weekend, and that's it. Everything else is just, I got to get to work. I got to do some work. And it's been good because I've been catching up on a lot of stuff that I've backlogged over the last couple of weeks. It's hard. You want to go out and have fun. So if you can put that boundary for yourself, it's admirable that you can do that. And it's a really good thing for you and your mental health later on anyways.
Diego works really hard. Thank you, Diego.
I try.
That doesn't understand.
No, he really does. He even had like a checklist when we came in before the podcast. Let me show everybody. Where is that?
So this checklist, just some context on this. Last episode, if you were watching that, you noticed that there were only 2 camera angles. It was this camera and then the studio camera right there, because I forgot to turn this camera on, and then we also had a caller, and I forgot to record the caller, and so
shoot, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's why I put the checklist together, because I was like, there's so many things that I just missed that are like amateur rookie mistakes. So I was like, I need you guys to double check me now.
Yeah. So this is how. Yeah, this is how we're gonna the checklist. The planner comes back to this.
There it is.
You need this visual
structure.
But yeah, thanks Diego for doing.
Yeah.
He works so hard. If you could just see like the setup that we have in here,
it's nice in here.
These are just so nice. He works really hard. Thanks, Diego.
And it'll just keep getting better and better every time.
You already know.
That's the goal, is to just keep improving, keep making things look good. But getting back on track, Matt, what are some things that you do to relieve stress, manage your stress?
Oh man,
I have what I call therapy every Monday night at 6:00 at the gym. I go and I play basketball with a group of anybody who wants to come. And everybody's really good, and it gets loud.
It does get loud.
People say words, and for me it's an excerpt. It's like I need to just release. You know, I would put it along the lines of working out. That would be one. It is. I worked out like it was a passion. Yeah, I did. Not anymore though. I don't know if that's just something that I don't know.
It's just hard to find time.
Yeah, I think for me what the gym was it was one of those releases that got me through that period of time. I've had a lot of different releases in my life. Like one time it was the gyms, and then there was a part of my life, junior high, 100% friends. 100%. 100%. They were my instant like go-to to get away from whatever just happened in my house. Nothing too terrible, just like normal kid stuff. You just got yelled at by your parents, whatever.
Which is funny because in junior high we were still always at your house. We were just outside playing basketball.
Yeah, exactly. And then my advice to just make sure that we stay on the right track here is careful what your coping is with stress, whoever you are, wherever you're at, because there are coping vices out there that will not help you. Because there's a lot of people that would say they would give an answer to how they got through school via stress, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily healthy. So that's my thing. Is I don't think every stress coping mechanism that everyone's going to say is healthy. Now, it might have got them through that time of life.
Yeah.
Great. What's the cost is my only question and answer. And I say it out of love for the person.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. And that's like healthy, like physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Like you were saying all about mental. And I love that because I think everything starts mental.
It does.
Absolutely. I think anybody, psychiatrists, philosophers, scientists, mathematicians, the religious, we can all probably agree that it starts mental and then it works its way outwards. It shows itself. It starts here. I agree with you.
Yeah.
Starts here.
Right.
It's me. I'm the problem. No, I'm just kidding.
Just echoing a little bit of what you're saying too is with the mental fortitude, mental strength, like something that helps me. I don't know if this helps everybody, but it's something that helps me is a lot of the accounts that I follow on social media, especially like TikTok, is a lot of motivational stuff. Yes. So it's like motivational stuff. It's art, it's poetry, because it's so easy to just go down rabbit holes and find things that are funny, find things that are cool and interesting, but you'll waste so much time. I said you funny.
No, for real. Diego sends me the funniest TikToks all the time. He's like, dude, these guys are so funny. LOL. Like, it's so funny.
It's so easy to get distracted. It is. Because like once I get on that's all I want to see. And so now I've like curated everything, like all of my For You page is my algorithms. It's got to be like motivational, like anything stoic, like you can do it, like learn, like improve yourself, stuff like that. Cause then that like, it sits in my subconscious mind. And then that's what kind of like ends up helping me like maintain a positive attitude a lot of the time, or just overcome obstacles is like say, okay, this is just part of the journey. Let's keep going. And so just like stuff like that. Or another thing too, that I do is I kind of like plan out my goals, or at least I write down things that like make me happy. So if you like look, I'll have like a picture up, but if you look at my wall, that's like right here. It's not this actual wall. It's that wall out there.
It's the wall that there's like, there's a big wall or a big whiteboard that's bigger than probably this whole room. And it has, no, I'm not joking. He has everything set out of like his whole life, which is awesome. It's like his goals, what is it? Your 3-year goal, your 5-year, and then
because the way I went about it is I wrote down like things that make me happy. So just figuring out what makes me happy so that I know what I can do to make myself happy when I'm not feeling happy. From there, I wrote down like 3-year goals. Like, what do I want to accomplish in the next 3 years? And then based off of those goals, like what do I envision my life to look like? Like what would be my ideal day to day? Like Monday through Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then 10 years from now, what would my goals be? What's my ideal life? Just stuff to kind of like keep in my mind. And so I have like a perspective of where I want to go, where I want to be, as well as like resources, like who are people that could help me? Like what resources are at my disposal that I could use? Like, is there software, like tools? Are there people with like connections that could help me out? Like people with more knowledge on a certain topic? Just like stuff like that. And so it's like, I did write a lot, but it's because I care. And like, once you like write it out, like, you know what you care about, like, you know what you're passionate about, and you have at least an idea of what to aim for, what to shoot for.
No. And I love that it's very specific. Like, it's not like, oh, in 5 years, I want to be a millionaire. No, it's how specific he has everything on how he's going to get to that goal.
Yeah. I want to pay Isaac $100,000 every year.
No, I was just, but no, I think it's so cool how specific you are to those goals because they're realistic. And if you see them every single day, it kind of reminds you of what you're working towards and why you're doing it every single day.
And that's why I put it like right there too, because I have to walk by that every day anyways.
No, and I walk by that every day, and well, not every day, but
every time you come into
every time I come in, I'm like, I know where Diego's mind is at, and he is ready to work. Like, I just love that mindset of where
it helps.
Yeah, like just kind of manifesting too. Also,
I think that's what like a big part of it too is like you're just manifesting success. Maybe it's like delusional. I don't really care what you call it, but I love it. It helps me out, and I know like if some people would do that, it would definitely help them out too.
I'd love that. I should do that.
You should. I'll send you.
Want to buy me a whiteboard as big as this room?
You know what's funny is I got the whiteboard that's out there. I got it from Weber State.
No way.
Because they were destroying one of the old computer science buildings, and so I just walked in. I was like, "Could I take a whiteboard?" They're like, "Sure." So I just put it on top of my car, and then I drove away.
That whiteboard is big.
It's huge.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's awesome.
But yeah, are there any like final tips or tricks that you guys have on being successful in school, and maybe not even school in general, just life in general too? Because a lot of those go hand in hand. They apply.
Yeah. Like what you were saying about like wasting time on TikTok really sparks something in me, because anyone who knows me well knows that I have time limits on all of my apps set. So I'll go to like show my friends a video, and it'll be like, your time's up, and they're like, what is this? And so that way I can like gauge like actually how much time I'm spending there. And it's because like I feel like sometimes you can sit there and you look up and there's like an hour's gone, and you're like, how did this even happen to me? But like I think setting time limits and like on whatever apps you have like issues with. I have it on my TikTok too. But so I think that's really helpful, so you can like manage your time better. It doesn't get away from you.
I admire that.
It's smart.
No,
that's
honestly,
awesome.
That's awesome. There's probably a lot of people
also
that
do
would
that.
have something.
I should do a lot of things that I'm not doing.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
But what I could tell you now, as being an adult, a job now is working out. That's something that I do every single day. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
no,
you did a Manic Monday.
I did. Yeah. If anybody wants to go see his episode, what episode is it?
16.
16. I did a episode for him, and you could see my whole adventure on that. The hard thing about that was you had to wake up early in the morning to do that. You couldn't do it because I usually work out in the afternoon after work and stuff. No, this was at the butt crack of dawn when everyone should be sleeping.
But doesn't that make you feel good though? Because like first off, like you do your workout, like you get up early and stuff like that, and so you feel good throughout the day.
You really
and then
do.
To top it off, we had the most beautiful like sunrise ever.
It was so
the most gorgeous morning.
Yeah. I should have went hiking with you.
We could have done the hike. Yeah.
We should have. I just went to the gym and everything, but it was the most pretty sunset, and it just put me in such a good mood that it was worth the $300 that Diego gave me.
That's right. So for some context, like the Manic Monday is like a little Instagram series I started a couple months ago. And I wanted to get somebody else to like do at least one like crazy thing in the morning. And so for 3 weeks in a row, I was offering $100 to anybody that would submit something, and nobody submitted anything. And so on this Monday, I was like, okay, $300.
Yeah. Can you imagine? I was like, I'm in there, but you know what? I was this close to pressing snooze once again. And I was like, because I'm not a morning person. It's so hard to get up in the morning. And I said, those $300 will be mine by 9 a.m. this morning. Like, I can do this. Like, I can buy 300 chicken McSpicy's.
Yeah.
Like,
have you ever seen $300 in a day?
What do you mean?
That's a lot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that is a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I could use this for
an hour's
Disneyland.
worth of work, man.
Exactly.
100%. I love that. And honestly, I'd like to announce that is my permanent job now, right, Diego?
Love it.
Every single
I'm gonna
morning.
go so broke.
Yeah.
My
He's
goal,
taking applications. If
Diego
anybody's
first credit
wondering.
my goal with the Manic Mondays is every 5 Manic Mondays. So like on episode 20, episode 25, 30. So every 5, I'm gonna give away money. I don't know if I'll do 300, but I'll give away at least $100 every time.
I'm gonna win every time. I'm just so competitive like that. I'm gonna do it.
Kaylei's gonna beat you next time.
Yeah, now that you've given away your secret of no one's challenging you, right?
Exactly.
Everybody's like doing it now. You owe like thousands and thousands of dollars.
I'd be so sad.
It all comes back.
It does all come back. Yeah. Honestly, like if somebody gets motivated by money to do something like that, just to like start their day off right, so be it.
Well, and honestly, I think this is going to be something that I could put in as a habit now, every month, not starting as, 5 days a week, I'm going to be doing this. I think also starting small with small steps to get you towards like 5 days a week, I think is really good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing that now.
Yeah.
Start out with one day
a week is perfect.
One day. Yes.
Because especially on a Monday, because it just sets your whole week up.
Your whole week. Yes.
That's why I like doing them. I'm set for the entire week.
Yeah.
Once I do one, I'm like, okay, today was good. Rest of the week is going to be great.
Yeah. No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It was so funny. He got me. Sorry, really quick. I'm like, wait, one more thing. He posts every Monday, right? His episode. And it's so funny. One morning, I was almost late to work, but obviously you get on your phone, whatever, check Instagram. And his story was, if you're sleeping right now, snoring in your bed, get up. If you, what else did you say? It was so funny. It was like, if you're still in bed, get up. If you're tired, get up. This is, calling me out, dude. Like, I was just like, I was like, crap, Diego. Like,
morning, right?
This guy got me beat. Like, he's out in the mountains running 5 miles in the morning, and I'm over here like trying to open my eyes at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, bro.
Anyways, yeah, this was a really good episode. I hope it was very helpful for not just like school stuff on how to be successful there, but like life in general. I think there's a lot of applicability there. Kaylei, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah. It's always good to see you.
Of course. Thanks for having me. This was fun. I learned a lot of good tips as well from everyone. That's why I love having these kinds of conversations.
They are good.
Just like reset myself midweek. Have a good rest of the week.
No, yeah. Thanks, Kaylei. I actually learned a lot for real.
Yeah.
It was really smart.
Yeah, and it's fun like knowing what you're up to with all the political science stuff, like helping out with judges and like going to trials.
She's running for president.
Yeah.
Yeah,
in other words.
2024.
You have my vote.
Kaylei Morris for president 2024.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, yeah, like whatever you do, like I think you're going to be super successful, especially because you have like a very noble heart and you have a very noble goal where you want to help the community, specifically like children that need help. And so you have 100% like, I'm speaking for everybody here, all of our support, because like our community needs help. Everybody, like we need to pitch in and help each other out. You're going to go really far.
Great.
Thank you.
Anyways, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Good Friends. If you enjoyed the content or if you didn't enjoy it, I don't really care. Leave a like, hit subscribe, leave a 5-star rating, whatever platform you're on.
I love it.
If you press like, Diego will Venmo you $300.
Hey, yo. Chill out, dog.
I'm just kidding. It's not Monday.
Yeah, once we hit 500 subs, though, I will be giving away $100. Hopefully, we've hit 500 subs by the time this episode comes out, so stay tuned. And then if we hit 1,000 subs, I will be giving away $300. So just keep that in mind. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell everybody, tell your homies, and we'll get there slowly but surely. That said, my name is Diego.
My name is Matt.
I'm Ed Andeni.
I'm Kaylei.
And we'll see you next time.